These two?
These two?
Yeah.
I could talk at these two.
Right.
Good morning, YouTube. We have been snowed in for a couple days, and I've got a house full of family and a house full of kids, and I decided that I am going to make us a big pot of macaroni and cheese. Oop, you got it? Is it better? I'm going to make us a big pot of macaroni and cheese. The kids are out playing in the snow. They come in, they're starving, and they want something to warm them up. So we're going to start out by doing a couple things. It's going to sound like it's really fancy, but it's not fancy. We're going to start out by making a bechamel, which is one of the classic French mother sauces. We're going to turn it into a mornay sauce, and we're going to use that for our macaroni and cheese. Okay? Now, it's really super easy. In the South, you're going to hear this called gravy or a cream sauce, and this is exactly how you do it. Don't worry about the bechamel name. It's cream sauce. Right? We're going to do it. Joey, you all right? I got a kid choking on some hot chocolate. You all right, buddy? Okay. Now, a bechamel is really very easy, and you can stick with the classic proportions, which are 1, 1, 1. And what that means is you're going to use a tablespoon of oil or butter. You're going to use a tablespoon of flour and a cup of milk, right? So I want 4 cups. So I have 4 tablespoons of butter over here in my skillet. I got 4 tablespoons of flour. Normally, I would probably use a saucepan like this, but I wanted to make sure that y'all could see everything. So I've got my big open skillet. And you just start out melting your butter. Now we were talking about different types of flour earlier. I have all-purpose flour. If you have self-rising, it wouldn't hurt to use it in this. You can, it won't make a difference. You can even use bread flour if you are in a pinch, it will work. And we were talking about the difference in types of flour earlier, and it's really pretty simple. An all-purpose flour is going to have a protein content right about 11%, and so that's what this is. And a bread flour is going to have a higher protein content, up to right around 13%. What that means is if you're baking and you use yeast as your leavener, the higher protein content is going to give more structure. So when the yeast produces the bubbles and it gets trapped in the gluten, you got more structure in your baked goods. So, waiting on the butter to melt. You know, there's different kinds of leaveners also. You've got mechanical leavening, which is when you are making cookies and you beat the butter and you're incorporating air into it. Same thing you do with a meringue or whipped cream. You have chemical leaveners, which are baking soda and baking powder. Those are short-acting leaveners. You use those for cookies, biscuits. And then, of course, you've got yeast, which is a longer acting, and it'll give more structure to what you're working with. So you use that a lot with bread. All right, so all you do at this point is dump your flour right into your melted butter. You're not really cooking a whole lot at this stage. You do want to cook it just a little bit. It helps get rid of that raw flour taste. What you really want to do, though, is fully incorporate your butter and flour together so that when you add your liquid, you're not going to have any lumps. And that's what the whisking right here is for. And I think I've said 1,000 times, if you end up with lumps in your gravy, don't worry about it, strain it. But this will help you make sure you don't have any. And what happens is all the little grains of flour get coated with the fat from the butter, and that makes it easier to have a lumpless gravy. Daryl, can you see what's in this pot? See what it looks like at this stage before I add the liquid? You get it? See? That's up there. See? You just make sure that it's incorporated well. And then, because I have 4 tablespoons each of the butter and the flour, I'm going to use 4 cups of milk. And I just whisk that in. And I like to do it in a couple stages. If you dump it all in there at once, chances are you're going to have some lumps. So you do it slowly and whisk, and it's going to be a lot smoother. just about ready to put the rest of it in there. It's a good thing I'm wearing my apron. I'm already making messes. Now, once we have the basic white sauce made, that in effect is a bechamel. And a little salt and pepper, and you can use it just the way it is. I like, because we're going to be working with cheese, after we add the cheese, it's a mornay, and it's just a bechamel with cheese added. Because we're going to be working with cheese, there are some seasonings that I want to put in here just to make the macaroni and cheese really sing. Alright, so we're just adding the rest of that milk. We're going to let that come up to temperature. So, our seasonings. I think somebody has nabbed my pepper mill. Hey Ben, is the pepper mill on the table, buddy? Alright, so our seasonings. I've got brown mustard, about a tablespoon and a half of ground mustard. I've got about a tablespoon and a half of garlic powder. Thank you, buddy. I've got about a tablespoon of kosher salt. Now, you don't use that much if you've got table salt. Remember, use about half. And then I've got about a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Lots of black pepper, of course. I'm going to whisk this in. And if you're doing a bechamel to serve with chicken or asparagus or what have you, adjust your seasonings. It really, you can use whatever you want. This is my new favorite thing. I've got this awesome pepper. About a pound of cheese. It's a lot of cheese, but I'm making a big batch of macaroni. And then I turned around and I grated up a single white onion. It wasn't really even that big. But if you use the grater, I don't know, can you see that? If you use the grater, you get lots of juice, right? It tends to be milder and it cooks faster. And so you have lots of onion flavor, but it's nice and sweet. It's not real strong. And that goes in there. I'm running out of spaces to put my stuff. Now, while this is coming up to temperature, I have 4 cups of macaroni that I already cooked. Well, because I got little ones coming in and out of the snow, thought I'd make some hot chocolate real quick. I was teasing my sister because she uses just the syrup out of the jug in a microwave. I forget I even own a microwave most of the time. Alright, so about, I don't know, 3 or 4 cups of milk back here. I've got that on medium heat. I've got both of my pots on medium heat. You want it to come up to temperature, but you don't want it to scorch. So I want about 2 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons. Okay, my measuring cups have gone. So we're going to wing it with the sugar. So I would say you want, for this amount, a good ½ cup of sugar. Which, that was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a ½ cup. I'm not entirely sure. And then, and I've got whole milk, by the way, which is really nice to brighten that flavor up. Just about a teaspoon and a half of butter. That's all that takes. And we're going to let this guy sit back here and warm up. And flour, you're going to get full thickening at about a minute after you simmer it. With a roux, to get that rich, nutty, intense flavor, you cook it longer and it will lose some of its thickening power, right? But in this, you don't have to worry about it. All right, we're getting there. This is not the fun part. We're just waiting on stuff to come up to temperature and boil. All right, what I am going to do, though, is I have my macaroni back here that I already cooked off, and I let it sit in the strainer. And I put, oh, don't fall. I put my pot right back on the stove because when I combine my cheese sauce with my macaroni, I want a lot of real estate to work with. And I'm throwing it everywhere. There we go. I lost one. And when you're cooking your macaroni, I put a good palmful of salt in the water before I boiled it, which makes the pasta taste good already. And it's just slightly underdone because I want it to finish cooking in the sauce where it will absorb a lot of those flavors. Okay. Aha. I can't turn my oven on. It just dawned on me. I have a problem. You know, it's not that big a deal. I had a buddy of mine over earlier today, and he was helping me cook, and we forgot a tray of biscuits in the oven, so I can't turn my oven on right this minute. But this recipe works either for a stovetop mac and cheese or for a baked macaroni and cheese. It doesn't matter. So I will remove the burnt biscuits in a minute, and I'll bake off some, but I'll show you what it looks like beforehand when it's already good to go. Okay? Now, what else were we going to talk about? Do you remember?
Making hot chocolate.
I am making hot chocolate, but it's got to come up to temperature.
Oh, okay.
So you can use whatever kind of, I've got whole milk. I have known people that literally made hot chocolate by melting Hershey bars in cream. I have seen that happen. It's a little too intense for me. But use whatever chocolate you've got, right? And your cocoa will not incorporate into your milk until it has come up to some temperature. All right, so we're just waiting on stuff to boil. Did you have, what else have we talked about this morning?
Somebody asked if you've ever done bechamel on YouTube before.
If I've ever done bechamel on YouTube? I don't think I have. I've done videos on how to make cream gravy. I've done sausage gravy. Actually, I think my sausage gravy video, I ended up not posting it. So I haven't done any of those things. So this is a first for the bechamel on YouTube. So, yes.
Teresa Stay at Home Life said she loves your recipes.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Teresa, thank you very much. You can tell I don't do anything real complicated. I don't have time. And, oh, this is nice. Now we're starting to get some thickening because we are almost at the simmer here. And you want to be careful because you've got a cream sauce. You don't want to scorch it, right? So that's why you just keep whisking. And, hang on. This is also when you want to take the time and opportunity to taste it and adjust your seasonings. And it is going to have a little raw flour taste in it still.
They're wanting you to post the sausage gravy video.
You want me to put my sausage gravy on? I can do that. It's kind of funny. That's I had a brother named Joey, and I lived on the West Coast for a while. And my brother lived back here in Tennessee or in Alabama. And anytime I would fly in, Joey would show up, usually at my mother's house, and he would come in the door and he would have a pound of sausage and a pound of butter, right? And that was my clue that Joey was ready for sausage gravy. So yeah, I can shoot sausage gravy. We made sausage gravy this morning. So yes, I will post that and get it up for you. Because that's one of those recipes that it's not just the recipe, it's the memories that go with it, which, yeah, that's kind of awesome. Okay, guys, can we see? I want to show. You can see? Okay, we're getting thick. So now we have a bechamel. This is what this is. This is bechamel, and it's simply a white sauce. I think it needs a little bit more salt, so I'm going to add a little more salt. And then we're going to add our cheese. I got some kids giggling in the living room. Okay, a little bit of salt. Always season as you go. Because if you wait until the very end to add all your seasonings, the flavor just won't be there. And you'll have to add, you end up adding more salt than you would have if you season a little bit as you go. All right, so I'm going to move from my whisk. And this is all you do. Now, I shop in bulk. I don't know if y'all saw my Thanksgiving shopping haul video, but I shop in large amounts. And often, by the end of the month, I will have odd little bits and pieces of leftover cheese. So this is kind of the end of the month mac and cheese, even though we just started this month. And I have made this same recipe, and you can add mozzarella or Monterey, or I've used blue cheese, I've used some Parmesan, you know, that's good to throw in there. As long as you have about 4 cups of cheese, it doesn't matter. And then you just incorporate it, stir it in. Here we go. All right. See our cheese sauce? So I'm cutting the heat on this. Can you see it? Can you see the texture? Ah. See? It's getting nice and thick. That's my dog. Boudin has been kind of housebound with the cat for the past few days, so he's getting a little cabin fever. Stir it right in. I'm going to move my over here. This is when you can have, you want to do a stovetop mac and cheese. That's what works right here. And add some more of our mornay. Because remember, a bechamel becomes a mornay when you add cheese. There we go. I got a book for Christmas on the 10 most influential restaurants in the history of the U.S. It was kind of funny. All through the 19th century, macaroni and cheese in some form was on like every restaurant menu ever. Alrighty. So if you want to do a stovetop mac and cheese, if you're doing a stovetop mac, add the onion a little sooner so it cooks down some. But I'm going to bake this. So I've got my casserole dishes. And the rest of your, it will look like it's too soupy if you're baking it, but it's not. That cheese sauce will bake into the pasta once it's in the oven. And if you want to do buttered breadcrumbs, if you want to do that, that's nice. If you want to do, we like those butter crackers, you know what I'm talking about? Crush those up. That's, you can add, oh my gosh, what all do we put on top of casseroles? Any of them. All of it works. Potato chips. You know what I did one time that was just almost wicked? I made macaroni and cheese, and I used green chilies in it. And I crushed up chicharrones, you know, the pork rinds? You talk about wicked macaroni and cheese. It was wonderful. Alrighty, guys. Now, you can serve it just the way it is. This is really good. It's hot, and I'm going to burn my mouth. Yummy. You can serve it just the way it is. That's fine. I'm going to make a mess here. Hang on a second. Jojo? Joey's working on the cameras. He's not allowed to touch it, but that's his job. He's monitoring the camera, aren't you, buddy? So I got a 7-year-old here that needs some hot chocolate. Yes, you can make it with the syrup. That's fine. But I tell you, this way is much, much better. Wait. That stuff's good. Hey, Jojo, you want some? Don't throw. Okay. I am going to go ahead and bake these off. So 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. I'm not going to put a topping on it, although you can if you want to. And I think Joey's going to get ready to go out and play in the snow again. All right, that's it. We're done. If you got any questions, shoot them to me in the comments. I will do the sausage gravy video, get that posted for you. I will break these videos out individually so they'll be a little bit easier to walk through and get measurements and that kind of stuff. Find me on